Bitzbox, I'm back again and I'm doing a painting tutorial today for the Necromunda gang that I've been working on, that's the Cawdor. But before we get started, big shout out, massive thank you to all of our Patreons. The link is in the box down below if you'd like to find out more about supporting our Patreon. And we always tend to release a lot of stuff early on Patreon as well, so videos like this you'll be able to see in advance. So get on there. So yeah, I'm working on the Cawdor today and I'm basically going to show you what I've done with them. So let's get started. Hello Bitzbox, I'm back again showing you my Necromunda gang. These are the Cawdor and I have already started painting a whole bunch of them, but I thought I'd do this one as a video just in a bit more detail to show you, because I've been doing them live and you can't quite see all the detail on the live videos, so I thought I would do another one to show you what's going on. So I've got one fella over here that I'm going to work on today. I've already primed him. I built him up as you may have watched the live videos, and I've primed him with this Gracier, which was the first time I've used a spray can on a miniature, and went pretty well actually. I think I've covered him everywhere. I hope so. I'll find out when I start painting if I've missed anything, so can always just touch it up if not. So we'll start on the Gulliman flesh contrast paint, and I'm just going to paint all of his hands, part of his face because he's wearing a mask, and I think that's it. Oh, there's a few parts of his legs. He's wearing sort of like binded straps on his legs, so I will do that as well. But there's not all that much to do with this colour. But it's the first one, starting with the lightest, and it looks a lot darker in the pot than it actually is, which you'll see in a minute. If you haven't already used this, it's a pretty well used paint over here. We always use it. So let's give it a go. I'm using my brand new army painter brushes as well, which I'm loving. They're really, really good. So I'm going to start on his hands. So it does sort of tend to look a little bit darker when you paint it on, and then dries a bit lighter from what I've tried out on the other minis. But yeah, it's a really good flesh colour. So yeah, that's his hand covered pretty much. It's a little bit underneath. So I'm just going to do that on all of the skin parts, and then I'll come back to you with the next colour. So see you in a moment. Okay, so I'm back and I'm going to do all the bits of rope on him. There's some bits on his leg, around the front. There's obviously this rope going around his neck as well. So I've covered all the bits of skin now, and I'm going to move on to using this contrast skeleton horde, which I think is just the perfect colour for rope. I did try another brown, I can't remember which one it was, but it was a little bit too dark, so this one just seems to work quite well. So I'm going to start covering bits on his arm. I might actually switch to the detail brush in a moment, because this brush is a bit bigger than what I'm after really. But yeah, so that's the sort of colour it's come out as. As you can tell, it's darker than the skin. It's sort of a different tone. So the skin's more pinky. This is more sort of olivey brown. So I'm going to finish off those bits, go around here, and do around his legs as well. So I'll do that. Right, so I finished doing all of those bits of rope. As you can see, there's quite a lot of it. So there's bits going around and on the back. And I just noticed that there's a little spot of bronze there. If you tuned into our live stream this week, you will know that Katie had a little bit of an accident with the bronze paint, and there's a couple of spots on this mini. There's one on the end of his gun as well. It is. Looks like he's just firing out some bronze. So yeah. So there's a few little dots, but I can cover them up easy. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. So I'm going to move on to using this Ultramarines blue. I was just chatting to Craig about how it's sort of one of the only normal blues. It's not super bright and it's not more sort of turquoisey. It comes out as one I made earlier. So it comes out of this as this sort of colour. So I'm going to paint him up in that blue, and I'm just doing on this one I'm just doing the top part, because the bottom part I'm going to do in a different colour, which you'll see. So yeah, let's give it a go. Right, so I'm going to start at the back because it's just the easiest plain bit. And I think I may end up doing a couple of coats. I do like to thin it out a little bit just in case it gets too much, but I might end up doing a couple of coats of this. It just depends how it comes out. Sometimes it's a little bit more on the brush. I don't know though, it's looking alright. So we'll see. So yeah, I've not chosen the theme that's on the box for these Cawdor. I've gone with something a little bit different. I just fancied trying something new. So yeah, blue is the first one, and I'll finish that off and then come back. Right, so I have painted all of the bits that I think I want to do in blue. I actually ended up doing his mask in blue as well, because it was either going to be a choice of blue or this Magos Purple, which I'm going to paint the bottom half of his clothing in. And I just thought, well, I'll go for blue with this one. I've not done the masks on the rest of my band at the moment, so that's another one that I've not quite finished. So I might do them sort of mixture of purple and blues. But yeah, this one I've gone for blue. I did do 2 coats of the blue over that just because I wanted it a little bit darker. It wasn't super light, but I just wanted it to match the rest of them, which are a little bit darker. So I've done 2 coats of that, and now I'm going to move on to this Magos Purple contrast paint, which I really love. I did this on my Stormcast Eternal Liberator, if you watched that video. And yeah, it's just a really lovely purple colour. And it works really well for this, for these Cawdor actually, I think it kind of suits them. Oh, if any of you know sort of a bit of the lore of why they dress behind why they dress like this, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, let me know, because I'm quite interested. I heard that they are sort of scavengers, which is why they've got sort of rope tying the clothes together. So yeah, let me know. So yeah, you can see It's quite pinky purple, but I think it goes really well with the blue, which I wasn't sure at first, but after trying it on one I was convinced that yeah, this colour scheme is meant to be. So yeah, you can see that there. So I'm going to finish up that purple colour and do the rest on the front and the back. Right, so I have finished that purple. I've also touched up a bit of rope that I missed on the gun. Ooh. Yeah, there you go. And his bald patch at the top, which I forgot about. So I'll probably end up doing his hair a dark, maybe black or something. But I'm going to move on first to the Gunmetal Metal metallic paint. And it's in a little dropper, so I'm going to put a bit on the palette over here, which has also got a lovely block of bronze on it from Katie. So yeah, just a little bit. And I'm going to water it down ever so slightly because it tends to get a little bit too... It sort of dries quite quickly, so that's what I found before when I was using it on the other ones. And this is actually as far as I've got. So from this point onwards, once I've done this gunmetal, I'm not sure what colours I'm going to use. So that's going to be exciting. But we'll start with this and see how we go. So yeah, oh, if it wants to focus. I'm going to do the weapon in this colour. Ooh. So yeah, that comes out really nice and shiny. I'll probably end up doing a wash over it. But yeah, like I say, I haven't got any further than this. So I'm going to finish off all the bits of metal. There's a bit of armour on his knee and shin, and sort of like a splint here. And a couple of elbow bits of armour on the elbows as well. So I will do those all in this colour and yeah, decide what to do next. So I've finished all of those bits of the gunmetal silver colour. So that's looking super shiny. I've done sort of the elbow bits as well. He's got like a splint on his leg, and the front of that bit of boot as well. I'm going to move on and use this Black Templar contrast paint. I'm going to do his hair in this colour, his little sort of monk-like haircut, and his boot. He's only got one shoe on. I don't know what happened to the other one, but he seems to have lost it. So let's have a look and see what this turns out like. I have a feeling it'll need a couple of coats. But we shall see. I mean, it looks pretty dark in the pot actually. But I expect it being a contrast paint, it'll be a little bit not so dark when I apply it. So let's see. Oh, that brush it's not liking me. There we go. Oh, and is it gonna let me focus? There we go. So actually it's not so bad. It's pretty dark, I would say. I think it might work okay for the hair. I'll finish that hair off. I have a feeling the boots might almost certainly need, well, boot, singular, might need a couple of layers. Let's have a go. Yeah, I think also because it's more of a flat surface, it doesn't always work as well on the flatter surfaces, but that's fine. I'll do another layer on that, and then it should look alright. It's starting to take shape. It needs a little bit of touching up. The one thing I found really hard with these Cawdor is the bit around his sort of neck. Getting in there without getting paint everywhere is really tricky. I definitely should have painted it before putting the heads on, but you live and you learn. I don't know if you've got any tips for attempting to get them which aren't just do it before you put the head in. I also had some issues trying to get him to stick on his base because as you can just about see, oh, you can't really tell, but he is only on one leg there. He kept falling over, so his foot's a little bit sunk in, but that's okay. I don't know how Craig did stick my other ones on and managed to get that one looking a lot better, so yeah, I don't know. He just wouldn't stand up on one leg. But yeah, any tips for sort of getting that paint in, yeah, let me know what you think. And I'll finish up these boots and the hair. Okay, so I've done all of those bits that I wanted to do black. The hair actually only needed one coat, but I did do a couple on the boot just to get it a bit darker. Yeah, but it seems to have worked quite well. Now I'm going to use a bit of a wash. So I'm using this black, but I'm going to really thin it down on the palette and just do it on the metals. So, oh, I don't want this to explode. I'm really nervous now. Okay.
It's all my fault.
Oh god. Hey, that's coming out, it's fine. Right, that's probably going to be too much, to be honest. Didn't come out and then it came out a bit too much, but I'll thin it out. We'll see how we go. Because it's much too thick right now. I don't want to paint what I've done metal completely black. So I'm just going to add loads of water. Right, that's getting there, I think. I mean, that is really thinned out, so I'm going to try that, and I can always sort of mix it a bit more if I want it a bit darker, but let's give this a go for now. Okay. Yeah, that seems to have worked actually. It's definitely turning it a different colour, but not too much, I don't think. Because you don't want it to be that shiny. I mean, yeah, that's looking alright. Just sort of picking up a little bit more detail. I'm pretty happy with how that's turning out. So I'm going to continue getting these little bits of silver and giving them a wash, and I will be back. Okay, so I'm going to move on after doing that wash. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I'm going to show you just how I'm going to do these candles, because this one actually doesn't have any candles on his shoulder, but that's one of the Cawdor things, is that they've got candles on on their shoulders. Just melting onto their shoulders. Sounds like it's going to be a very comfortable experience in battle. So I've chosen to use this dead white. I did have a go at using this contrast apothecary white, but it's just not quite the colour that I wanted. I wanted it a bit more white. So I'm going for this one. And I've put a little bit on the palette. So let's give this a go. Okay, so just gotta let it focus. There we go. And I really have got the tiniest brush that I own. Obviously the flame will need to be a different colour, but I'm just going to paint the wax part for now. Oh, it doesn't want to focus again. There we go. So yeah, I think that works well for the candle colour. One other thing I managed to do with this nifty little brush is use it to fill in those cheeky little bits that I couldn't get around the neck. So actually I'm really chuffed with that because I was getting annoyed that I couldn't get to those bits without painting all over his face, and it has gone a little bit on his chin, but I can always clean that up later. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the outcome of that. I'm going to do the base now, so I'll probably use that same silver with a wash and show you how it comes out. Right, so bringing it back to this guy with the candle on his shoulder, I'm going to finish off with using this Iyanden yellow to do the flame. So let's see how this comes out. I've not actually used this colour before, so I don't know what it's going to look like, but hopefully it will do for the flame. So try and get it to focus on the little flame. There we go. It is literally tiny. That's all it takes. Simple as that. It's quite hard to show on the camera, but I think that does the job, to be honest. So I have also done this base in silver on the one that I've been working on for this video, for most of this video, and then I'm going to do a wash over that to make it a bit sort of rougher and less shiny, and then we shall be done. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so I have finished off his base and done a wash over it with those same colours that I did the weapons, and I'm really pleased with how he's turned out. Filling in his neck area has made a bit of a difference to making him look sort of less patchy, and yeah, I'm really chuffed with that colour scheme actually. I think it's worked pretty well. So yeah, just got to finish up all the rest of them now, and yeah, I'll show you all of those completed.